stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh.
Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put that ball in the Wednesday net? Super Tyrese Campbell.
That was Sean Needham, and this is the Sheffield United Hodcast. I'm Matt, and here is the Keegan Bradley to my Luke Donald. It's Johnny.
Evening.
So, Johnny, tonight's plan, obviously, it's a double-header episode. We're going to rattle through a review of the Oxford game. We're going to rattle through a review of the Southampton game. We've got a discussion item tonight, which is United's 3 biggest missed transfer opportunities. And then we're going to preview the Hull match. Just before we delve into the Oxford match, if I was to say to you in 5 words or less, can you sum up the Oxford game for us, Johnny?
So for the Oxford game, 5 words, I would say gritty, effective, dogged, average performance.
Nice. That's 5 words. Good. And then Southampton?
Southampton, I would say improved performance, incompetent referee performance.
Nice. Although you did use performance twice in your 5 words, but we'll let you off with that. So United have played a couple of games since we last did a pod. We managed to get our first win of the season, which was away at Oxford. So United lined up with Cooper in goal, Burrows at left back, me at centre half, McGuinness at centre half. I think Tanganga was a third centre half. Ogbeni as a right wing back. We then got Hamer, Peck, Samari in the middle, O'Hare playing a 10, and Campbell up front on his own. United did have Chong down to start the game, but obviously he went off injured in the warm-up, which meant Samari had to come in and start playing. Thoughts on the lineup, Johnny, for the Oxford match?
Yeah, it was pretty close to what we've all been expecting. I slightly disagree. I don't think we played a back 5. I didn't see Ogbeni in our own half at all. Like I said, it was an effective performance. So
it was a strange one, the Oxford game, because I think a lot of the pods and different things I've listened to, everyone was quite divided whether we'd gone 3 at the back with 2 wing backs or whether we stuck with a back 4. I know the Pinch had talked about us having a 3 at the back, and I think Alan Biggs had referenced that it was a 3 at the back. Sheffield United way, Jimmy Ramble and both said it was a 4. I think what United did quite well, they were fluid, weren't they? They were altering positions when they needed to. When we're out of possession, Ogbeni were dropping in, turn into a bit of a right wing back. To be fair, the first half wasn't great. It was better than it had been. But again, it wasn't great. It seemed a bit like a continuation of the Charlton match, didn't it? That first half, there were very, very little for either team to write home about. Campbell had United's best chance, didn't he, with the turn and shot in the box, and we really should have hit the target, but he didn't. So that was that at half-time. I think Oxford were probably the happier of the two sides because even though we're not playing very well, we're still Sheffield United. It's still a decent scalp for Oxford at home to get a result against us. Second half, I thought we were a lot better. I know my dad didn't. He said we were poor still. But that's a feature of everything with my dad. I thought we were much better second half. I mean, I had the Radio Oxford commentary on the stream I was watching it on, and they were talking a lot about how Oxford were pegged back by United in that second half and pinned back quite significantly. And we scored a goal. Major moment. A goal went in for us. Second goal of the season in the league. And it was Callum O'Hare. Nice finish. Rolling it into that bottom corner. Good work by Ogbeni down the right-hand side. He turned on the NOS like he was gone in 60 seconds. Managed to keep the ball in. Got it across. And O'Hare slid one in under the keeper. United, to be honest, looked fairly comfortable. They had a moment, didn't they, last off where they headed one wide, and they'd fizzed a couple of chances from distance. But really, we looked really troubled in that second half against Oxford. Any thoughts on the game for you, Johnny? The Oxford match?
Yeah, I think you summarised it pretty well. That it were a poor first half. Nothing between the two sides. Probably Oxford slightly edged it. Campbell missed a decent chance though. And then second half, we just seemed to up the tempo, played a bit more freely going forward, and they were pegged back in their half. And they only looked like one team with a bit more quality, which was us probably for the first time this season.
Yeah.
And then we actually looked decent and dogged at the back, where we dealt with a lot that went in the box. I mean, the post late on, but I thought for Ben Mee's first start, he was outstanding.
Yeah, he did. Ben Mee had a very, very good game. I thought McGuinness played okay. O'Hare is looking more like himself. Looked a lot busier, ratting about, doing some work. I thought Ogbenny showed a few flashes of what he's capable of. Should we delve into your player ratings for the Oxford game, and we might just unpick a couple of player performances from that?
Yeah, so I've gone with Cooper with a 6, probably because we've won the game. He's kept a clean sheet. Didn't really have much to do. Did a couple of catches when the crosses came in late on. Tanganga, I'm giving him a 6. I don't think he was that good. Right back isn't his best position for me. Although he did play quite as a narrow right back, I suppose. But he looked okay. McGuinness, a 6 again. Looked solid enough, dealt with the balls in the box. Just what you want from a big centre half. Just won everything in there.
Yeah.
Ben Mee, I would give an 8. He was brill. He won everything. He looked solid. First half, he did what he needed to do, dealt with it, played the ball out of play. And then second half, he was just calmness personified and just mopped everything up. Burrows, I went for a 5. I thought it was poor again.
Generous.
I don't think he did anything really. He doesn't show much going forward at the minute, and yeah, it was an hard one. He was up against that Placetta, went and played off him quite a bit, and he's probably Oxford's best player. But yeah, Borough should still have the B team of him.
Was that their number 7?
Yeah, with long.
Yeah, good player, busy.
Yeah, decent. And then you go into midfield. So Peck played in there alongside Samari with Chong's late withdrawal. I thought Peck was okay, a 6. He did a lot more running around, a lot more energy. He was turning and playing forward a lot more the second half, which was positive, which he hadn't been doing in recent weeks.
Yep.
Samari, who I've been shouting out along with you he's probably the poor man's Vinny Souza, but he looked okay second half, so I've given him a 6.
Yep.
First half, he wasn't the greatest. He just looked a bit like he was dawdling, but second half, he was a lot more positive and got stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
Hamer's the hard one. A 6 again. It wasn't too bad. He showed some nice touches and stuff and worked hard, but he's not affecting the game at the minute like you'd expect from him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's fully fit. And it goes back to what we said, where in pre-season for Sellers, they weren't doing the hard running to get fit. There's not a chance they were getting fit for that manager. Benny, set up the goal. Apart from that, he didn't really do much. He's another strange one. I don't think he's fit. He shows he's like a Olympic sprinter. He does 4 or 5 sprints a game and then doesn't do much else.
No.
We'll touch on that for the Southampton game. It was similar.
Yeah.
Campbell, I've given him a 5 on Saturday against Oxford, purely because he's got to score that chance early on. and he looked like he was carrying some real timber.
Yeah. Did he looked like he was
We need some mobility up there.
yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm not even going to touch on the subs really because they weren't on for long enough. So
What did
yeah,
you give him
overall a
there?
lot. It was a dogged performance. It was the poor. It was the poorer performances of last season when we won games 1-0 or won a tight game, and it was like that on Saturday. So it was effective. We got the first win.
Yeah, what score did you give O'Hare again?
Aware gave me 7. Sorry.
7 for O'Hare. All right. I mean, just two players I just want to talk about briefly from Saturday's game. Peck. I thought Peck was better. Thought he had a better game than what he's had this season, and it was quite interesting on the Radio Oxford one. They were raving about City Peck and how he'd played. The fact that he was up and down and busy and in people's faces and tackling and just doing what we wanted from City Peck, really. He did seem like he'd had a much better game, and it was nice to hear him being acknowledged by a biased opposition radio firm, you know what I mean? The other one's Samari. Now, I've seen conflicting reviews about Samari. I've seen Samari in some quarters, given a 3 out of 10. Others I've seen him as high as a 7. Where do you think we sit with Samari? Do you think he's actually got a future here? Do you think he's going to be a player that we're going to keep and look at signing for decent money? Or do you think he's going to be one that's a bit of a failed loan and gets shipped back?
I don't think he's going to feature much because of returning players.
Right.
I think Tom Davis, who again we'll touch on later in tonight's episode, I think he'll play a pivotal role if he stays fit. That's a big if, by the way.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
Obviously, there's the return of probably our best player, our blaster. So yeah, I don't think Samari will get many minutes. I don't think he'll drop Peck. And just to go back to the player ratings, obviously I gave Aware the 7 basically because he scored the goal. So.
Yeah, I think O'Hare was better. I think O'Hare had a good game as well against Southampton. In terms of his ratting about and doing what we need him to do and getting that high press. And I think that's what Sayers wanted him to do, wasn't it? But obviously, just nothing clicked in that short-lived Sayers damned United era. So that was Oxford. It was first win of the season and only win of the season. It looked a great atmosphere in the away end as well, which was nice. I think everyone's just got to be happy to come away. It's always a tricky fixture, isn't it? Anywhere where you go away in this division. I know Oxford are hardly one of those sides that's going to be challenging for the playoffs or for automatic, but it's never easy, particularly after we lost there last season as well, and that's kind of when the season started derailing, wasn't it? With those 3 defeats in a week. What else you want to say about the Oxford match?
No, like I say, it was just getting that monkey off his back and that first win, weren't it?
Yeah, so you said gritty, effective, dogged, average performance. I think you summed it up very nicely. So that was Oxford, that was Saturday. And then in true championship fashion, it was Saturday, Tuesday. We had a Tuesday game. So we played Southampton, Will Stills, Southampton, at Bramall Lane, under the lights. For the Southampton game, you said improved performance, incompetent referee performance. I was looking forward to this one. Southampton haven't started great, said they were one of the pre-season favourites. To me, just in brief summary before we go into it more, as much as my dad kept saying it's 2 poor sides, it's 2 poor sides, it's 2 poor sides, and as much as friend of the pod, Lee Starbuck, also said it's 2 poor sides, I felt like it was actually 2 of the better sides in the division that are flawed playing against each other. Southampton looked good going forward. United, controversially, I feel, played better against Southampton than we did against Oxford. We just made a couple of silly mistakes that got punished and we didn't take our chances. Is there what you want to say before I run through the lineup and we go through some of the big events in the game?
Yeah, I think it was. I do believe it was an improved performance. However, we're playing a more clinical side
Yeah.
than we've played in recent games, and they had a decent striker up top. Ross Stewart scored a scrappy first goal and then a decent second goal. So yeah, they were fragile like we are. They look poor at the back. We still don't look the best at the back, and yeah, you could. I think for the neutral, it would have been a decent game.
No, it would, and I think to touch on your point there about we don't look the best at the back. I think United are still learning to play together. You look at that back five or back four, however you want to look at it. I mean, Live Score did have us down as playing with a back five again last night. You've got if it's a five, you've got four new players in there, and if it's a four, you've got three new players in there. So either way, they've got to learn to play together. So it's going to take a little bit of time to click and figure out who's doing this, who's doing that, who goes, who stays. Right, he's going to move in that way, he's going to move in that way. If Burrows goes, I need to pull out wide. There's loads for him to still learn, isn't there, as they're finding each other out. So I don't think the defence is going to be solved overnight.
Yeah, I think it was a back five out of possession, and then in possession it was a three.
Yeah.
At times, and then sometimes a four. So
yeah. Well, there's a fluidity in there, and it gives us a few options, which is nice. That's what you want, really. So for the Southampton game, we made one change from the side that lined up against Oxford. So we had Cooper in goal, Burrows, me, McGuinness, Tanganga, Ogbene. Then Hamer, Peck, Tom Davis, welcome back, started in midfield. O'Hare played the 10 role behind Campbell again. It was an interesting game, this one. Cooper made a decent save fairly early on, down low from a header from Rod or Ross Stewart, the Loch Ness Drogba, as he's known. Decent save from Cooper on that one. United had a bit of pressure, bit of possession, bit of territory. We looked okay without creating that much. We felt like we were lacking a focal point again, didn't it? Because Campbell's movement's still not great. And then we all had to eat a massive slice of humble pie with our Hendo sausage roll and alpaca lips because Campbell scored an absolute cracker. I've watched it back 2 or 3 times. The defending's absolutely horrendous. I know it's a good goal from our point of view, but I've no idea why their centre-half thought it was a good idea to just let Campbell charge around like that. He cuts inside, doesn't he, and just smashes one straight into the top corner when he bursts into the box. It's an absolute cracker of a goal from Campbell. Game ebbed and flowed a little bit. Still thought that they were the best side out of the two, which you could probably argue maybe they had the slightly better chances and a few more than we did in that first half. Ben Mee made a cracking tackle in the middle of the park and got a yellow card. And I think that was a sign of how the night was going to go at that point. He made a great tackle, didn't he, from behind. The crowd was up, everyone was cheering. He absolutely crunched it, got the ball as well. The referee booked him.
I don't actually think he touched any of the man. Yeah, I've watched it back a few times, and he doesn't touch the man. It's the reaction of the Southampton couple of players who run up to him.
Yeah, well, this is always the way, though, isn't it? It's being the master of the dark arts, that's the issue.
But from where we sit on the cop, it were a cracking tackle, and it was the start of an awful performance from referee.
Yeah. Well, this was it. This is what a kind of feature of the night wasn't it? Really. So yeah, that was moving towards the end of the first half, and then we had another huge. Well, Cooper was starting to look a bit shaky, wasn't he? With some of his passing, he got mugged, and in a quarterback style stay, and he was sacked by the striker, and then he had to drop on the ball before it rolled over the line. And then he had a tangle with Ross Stewart, didn't he? Stewart milks it for all it's worth, goes down and gets himself a penalty. and Armstrong thankfully blazed it over the bar. So at half time, we're winning 1-0, but Wilder's getting very frustrated, isn't he, at this point? And he decides to kick the ball against the hoardings or the dugout. It spins up into the crowd, hits someone. Wilder went in, didn't he, to apologise straight away. And at the bottom of the steps was Clinton's himself with his red card, waiting to hand that out, and he sends Wilder off. Any thoughts on the first half before we move into the second? Because it gets a little bit more frustrating, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the first half was pretty even. Good finish by Campbell. Can't remember us really having many other chances. We had a couple of times where you're looking, play that final ball, and we didn't. Just wasted opportunities. They had a couple of good chances. The penalty's an absolute joke. Cooper pulls out. Stewart makes sure there's contact and goes over. Ref's giving it before he's even touched him, by the way.
Yeah.
Stewart's actually stood in front of where we are on cop, and he's laughing at the cop because he knows he's just played ref, and you're like, yeah, he just set the tone. It was poor. And like I said with Wilder, it's frustration. I get that. Everyone else was frustrated. Does he need to do it? Probably not. But as part of passion, I'd rather see that than that idiot we had before.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree on that one. I really do. And apologies that he wasn't Stuart Armstrong. It's obviously Adam Armstrong, the Southampton captain, isn't it? That missed the penalty. So second half gets underway. United start off really at quite a pace. We create a cracking chance for O'Hare.
So can I just jump in here? I've seen on a lot of forums and social media the lazy throwaway comments of typical Wilder sitting back on a 1-0 lead. That's absolute nonsense on this occasion because second half starts, we're 1-0 up, we're missing a massive chance. And I've seen it back and it's a lot easier than you'd realise.
Is it?
It's a great ball that line from Hamer from that quick free kick.
Yeah.
And O'Hare's got more time than you think. And it's the only place McCarthy can save it.
Yeah.
He does it with pace. McCarthy actually turns his back on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good save.
It's a good save, but that's the difference. If he scores that, we go on and win the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. No, I do agree.
So for him to say that we sit back is rubbish because within a couple of minutes of that, they go and score their first goal. So we've not sat back.
No, you're right. And United started the second half for that first few minutes really well. And as you say, we score that goal. It's a completely different game, isn't it? And then as you're right, they scored a couple of minutes later. So it's a strange goal, this one. Corner comes in. It's that near post run, and we didn't get wise to that all night. This happened a couple of times with Armstrong peeling off at that front post and other runners. They get a header. I don't know whether Cooper tips it onto the bar or it just goes straight onto the bar. It looked like United just thought it had gone over. No one relaxed.
I think from where we were sat on cop, obviously it's right down at far end, we thought it was going over. Yeah. And Cooper's body language, he thinks it's gone over.
Yeah,
he just leaves it, and then it just dips down off the bar, and we're too slow to react in that.
Oh,
in that
far too slow.
Stewart doesn't even get a great connection on it, and Cooper he dives over the ball.
Yeah.
So I think he'd want that one back for two reasons: for obviously watching it at the bar, and then the second one for that diving on top of the ball over it. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you took the words out of my mouth for that one, Johnny. I think Cooper would want that one again. It wasn't great from his point of view. It's straight down the middle of the net and it's not struck well.
He saves that 9 times out of 10 last season.
Yeah. And I think this is, I mean, you're going to do your player ratings in a bit, but Cooper, for Mr. Dependable, is worrying me a little bit at the minute. He doesn't look confident. You know, he's normally very composed. His touch is great. His passing's great. His bowling out's great. His decision-making's excellent. He's just not looking the same chap at the minute. I'm sure it'll come, but he doesn't look brilliant. So that was Southampton's first goal. That pulled them level. it's not long later. It's a few minutes, isn't it? They get a second. So the second goal again is Stewart. So Stewart had scored the first one. He gets the second as well. This one's a bit more frustrating insofar as it felt a bit more like we could have prevented it. It's only 7 minutes between the two goals, so the throw-in comes in, doesn't it? Stewart just spins, drives towards our goal, and don't get me wrong, it's a great strike. It's an absolute cracking strike. Cooper can't save that. It takes two Mike Coopers to get near that one. But it just felt like we weren't tight enough, and we got done by a quick turn. In between that happening, in that 7 minute period as well, Campbell had a good chance for United where he burst through, didn't he, onto the edge of the box.
Well, again, it goes back to the we're sitting back. We weren't.
No, we weren't. No,
we weren't sitting back. If Campbell should score that at 1-1.
Yeah, he should. He should.
It's on his weaker foot.
Yeah.
It's an easier chance than the one he scored.
Oh, it is.
A much easier chance than the one he scored. And then, like you said, there's their second goal. McGuinness, he goes to get tight, don't quite get there, and Stewart just drops his shoulder and he's just spun him. And McGuinness again, he'll want that one back because that shouldn't be happening.
No,
that shouldn't be happening. He's poor defensively. That.
See, this was the first time I've seen Ross Stewart play and been impressed. I thought Ross, he had a good game. Ross Stewart, big, really big, nasty handful. Reminded me of a bit more mobile McBurnie.
Yeah, he's got a lot more pace than McBurnie. I always said that.
He has, and Oli McBurnie's going to be a feature later on. So that happened, and then United started chasing, and this is where the referee came into play. You said he looked like Davy Gisbrex. That's a blast from the past for everyone. He had a big say in stuff that started happening later on. So the first real controversial moment at 2-1, Ogbenny's running through and it looked for all money like he'd been clattered on the edge of the box as he's bursting in. Referee just waved play on, which was absolutely awful. There was a couple of other incidents where McGuinness has his shirt pulled off in the box, pretty much. It's pulled over his head at one point, pushed to the floor. United then have a goal disallowed for. I mean, I've watched that a couple of times. I can't see much. If anything, McCarthy's leaning on Cannon.
So if you're disallowing the goal,
for
Cannon touching McCarthy's arm, that's all it was. McCarthy realises he's not getting to the pole, so he throws himself down. If you're disallowing it for that, how is McGuinness's shirt being lifted over his back, up to his neck? Not a penalty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And ref actually waved that away. He didn't not see it. He waved it away.
Yeah.
So, and he just lost complete control. And then I'm going to do the one where, because I wanted to call this podcast tonight, breathe and count to 10, unless you're the referee, because you are not able to count to 10. So those of you who don't know, United get the free kick in the last minute, and you can see we're a yard outside the box, and they're lined up just behind the penalty spot.
We're
talking 7.5 yards, and you can see it's nowhere near. And Hoare counts it out, and then the referee goes to count it out. The whole cop counts it out, and he counts out 7.5 to 8 steps.
Yes. Yeah, he
doesn't admit that he's got it wrong, get his spray can back out, just lets it go.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference, because Hamer's free kick, if the ball's 2 yards further back like it should be, he's got a lot more chance of getting it up and over, and it actually just clipped the top of one of their heads, didn't it? So
yeah,
it just summed him up. It was absolutely abysmal from him, and he needs to go back to League Two where he was reffing last week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually go in.
The game,
go on.
The game was too big for him. It's not a top-end championship, but it should be with the two teams that are playing.
Yeah,
there's probably two of the biggest clubs in there, and that game was too big for him. And you see a lot where they say that the ref was poor, he had a poor game. He just seemed biased. And
Yeah.
it's a strong view, but even the national newspapers who hate United, I've seen a lot of put it on it today that how bad he was. And if you read Roy's view, for the opposing fans, the Southampton fans, some have actually named the ref as their best player.
Yeah, he did nothing to endear himself to the people of Sheffield last night, unless it's the blue half. He didn't have a great game. I mean, we've skirted over what would have been Peck's first goal with the disallowed goal, because obviously, as you said, McCarthy went down very, very easily, and Peck bundled it in at the back post. The ref spoiled the second half, really, just with missing a few basic decisions, and I think having the guts to make some big calls. Do you want to just whiz through your player ratings very quickly, Johnny, and then we'll move on to our discussion item, shall we?
Yeah, so I'm going to give Cooper, it's a generous 5.
That is generous.
That's based on him making a couple of decent saves first half.
He did give away a penalty and conceded a soft goal.
It wasn't a penalty. So he made a couple of decent saves. He did nearly give the ball away with his feet. Again, we touched on it with he doesn't look the same keeper.
No.
However, you can't just put that down to Cooper. A keeper is only as confident as his defence in front.
Yep.
And we're giving away a lot. I mean, just if you watch back for the actual penalty, McGuinness is caught ball watching.
Yeah.
It's a 60-yard pass over his head. And at 6'5", you shouldn't be having a ball over your head.
No.
That deep. Because Stewart actually controls it on penalty spot, roughly. In line with penalty. So, yeah, it's poor defending. He's exposed Cooper. He doesn't cover himself in glory for the first goal. I think he can do better with, instead of just watching it over the bar, and probably actually getting his body on for the first goal.
Yep.
You know. Yeah, so it's a generous 5 based on a couple of saves. Because if they go in 1-0 early, it's a different game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm going Tanganga 5. I don't think he had a great game.
Yep.
He shouldn't be right back, even though it was a fluid right back, right centre back. Last night, I will give you that. Ogbenny did drop in a lot more when we were out of possession.
Thank you.
Give him a 5. McGuinness a 5.
Yep.
Purely because he did a couple of things okay, but he's at fault for the second goal. He gets spun far too easy.
Yeah, he does.
Just a basic drop at shoulders took him out of the game.
Yeah.
You can't have at this level.
Nope.
You can't have that. And yeah, he just looks a bit like a defender that got conceded a lot of goals last season.
Yeah.
Ben Mee, I thought was good again. Obviously not as good against Oxford, but I give him a 6. His tackle was outstanding that the ref gave a foul for. Cracking challenge, and yeah, he looks decent, but he's not fully fit, is he? So it's
not yet.
Burrows missing again. I give him a 4. I don't see what he contributed.
No, agreed.
Defensively or offensively.
Set pieces were awful. The set pieces were awful. I mean, the other thing which frustrated me all night was both Burrows and Tanganga's inability to throw a football.
Yeah.
And it's not about throwing it distance. They couldn't throw it to a person. They couldn't throw a short throw in. They couldn't throw a long throw. They couldn't get it to anyone in a red and white shirt. It was poor. Sorry, carry on.
So I then go on to Hamer.
Yep.
I'm going for a 5.
Yep.
He's not affecting the games at the minute. Again, it's going back to what we said earlier. He's not fit. Throws his arms out a bit when things aren't going his way. He looks a shoe in every game to get a yellow card from complaining. He's just not the same player but we're not attacking like we were. But things aren't going through him as much.
Mm.
But it doesn't help because a lot of Hamer's good play last season was down to Burrows being in form.
Yeah.
Because he was creating space for him, giving him an option wide. And they were linking and changing really well last year. And there's none of that. So it's all down that left side.
Mm-hmm.
O'Hare. I'm going for a 6. I thought he did a lot of running about. He looked quite sharp second half. But again, does he affect the game enough?
Mm.
There were a couple of times where he were on edge at box in first half, and you're thinking, go on, shoot. If that's an attacking midfielder like a Finn Azaz or a Riley McGee or at Middlesbrough, they're shooting.
Yeah.
And they're scoring there, or at least testing keeper work. He doesn't seem to have a lot of power behind him out there, does he? So
no.
He doesn't take on many shots from distance. Benny. Again, I liken him to an Olympic sprinter. And last night he'd had 5 or 6 sprints.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking sometimes, go on, just not ball into that space behind him. Manning's on his card, take him on.
Mm.
And he just didn't do it. Whether it's a confidence or fitness issue or what, I don't know. He got away from that centre half for Southampton, and he just mullered him, didn't he? And linesman's 10 yards away. He's got to give it. Referee didn't want to give it. He had no intention of giving it.
Mm.
And that was the only time Benny really got him behind.
Yeah, agreed.
Sidney Peck, I'm giving a 6.
Yeah.
Purely because I think it was probably his best game.
Yep. That's fair.
He needs somebody like your Tom Davis at the side or Vinny Souza.
Mm.
Because Tom Davis does a lot of the nitty-gritty work. He's positive in his play.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times when he's got the ball in tight areas and he'll not just play it simple ball backwards. He'll look to turn and play it. So he brings that positivity, which then frees Peck up to play his game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's fair. That's very fair.
Peck a 6, and then Tom Davis, I thought, was our best player. He got 60 minutes in. I'd give him a 7.
Agreed.
He was our best player last night.
He was United man at match, Tom Davis, last night.
If we keep him fit, he could make a massive difference this season. But I do think he'll end up being injured within a few weeks.
Of course he will. Yeah.
It's worrying, whether it's psychological or whatever, or I don't know. But he's too injury prone. But yeah, he did look good. Campbell. So great finish. I'm giving him a 6 for the finish. However, if he scores that to make it 2-1 second half, he's the hero, isn't he? And it's a lot easier chance. Plus, as I've touched on all season with yourself and on this pod, he is not fit.
No, I think you're right. I think you're totally right.
And you can't pin your hopes on being a promotion candidate or a top 6, whatever we're aiming to be now. I don't know. And have a striker who can't play more than 60 minutes. And that's our only outlet last night. Yeah. Because Danny Ings clearly wasn't fit, otherwise he'd brought him on earlier. Yep. And Tom Cannon is just ineffective.
Agreed. And that's a really good point that you make there, Johnny, about, Ings and Campbell and what have you. And it does segue us nicely into our discussion item of the night, which is the biggest missed opportunities that United have had. Now, we've kind of whittled it down to 3 because everyone knows the Maradona story. And the reason we've kind of chose to discuss this tonight is that we're playing against one Mr. Oli McBurnie on Saturday, who decided to join Hull this summer, despite a lot of speculation linking him back with a return to United. So with return of the Mac, the man who's scored 7 goals and got 3 assists in 9 matches in all competitions so far this season, we thought it would be just a nice little discussion to look at the best players that United have been heavily linked with, or have nearly got them over the line and then have not done it. for whatever reason. So the famous Maradona story, for people that don't know, basically United had a chance to sign Diego Maradona. He was identified by a scout. They said, "Oh, this young kid in Argentina is great," and United, in true Sheffield United fashion, balked at the price and said, "No, we can't afford that." So that's the most famous one. Do you want to go with another one that United were heavily linked with and had a chance of signing, Johnny? And then I'll do one, and then you can finish us off. Go.
Yeah, so we were linked with Alexander Mitrovic
Yep.
back in 2020, 2021, I believe.
Yep.
So the Prince wanted him, and yeah, we didn't end up signing him, and he went to Fulham instead.
And the rest history with that season he had in the Championship, isn't it? And scoring, what, 1 million goals that season that he managed. So yeah, that was quite a one to miss out on. The next big player that we missed out on, quality player that we missed out on, was Mr. Thomas Soucek. Now, if Prince Abdullah's to be believed, that first season in the Premier League, or certainly the second disastrous COVID season, we went for Thomas Soucek and looked at signing him, and Wilder turned him down, which doesn't look great when you consider we decided to strengthen our midfield with Ben Osborne. No offence, Ben. I know you're an avid listener. Thomas Soucek, you do think, what could that have been? Particularly after that ninth place finish. And then, yes, it was a season behind closed doors, but a player of his quality and in a side that, gelled together really well, didn't it? And had clicked and had got everything going for it. It's a hell of a player to miss out on. Who's the last one you want to talk about, Johnny?
So I'm going to throw one out for what Mr. Neil Warnock didn't end up signing, and he was recommended by an ex-player who was his scout over in France, Laurent de Jaffo.
What a man.
And we were linked and had the option of signing Didier Drogba. And that is something that, didn't materialise because they didn't want to pay it or didn't fancy him or whatever. He does a lot of after dinner speeches, Warnock, and he says he's the one player who he could have signed and didn't, and he regrets. So.
Who did we sign instead? Were it the Chief?
Possibly. Somebody just as good, Wayne Ellison, yeah.
Yeah, good old Warnock. Good old Warnock. So, yeah, United have unfortunately missed out on quite a few big signings. Where do you stand on McBurnie before we get into the whole preview? What do you reckon?
So, had Wilder been there at the start of the season, McBurnie would have 1,000,000% signed for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's even said it. Yeah, I've seen an interview today where he's come out and said, "Oh, he wanted Wilder on touchline because he loves him and everything, and because he can get that extra 10-20% out of players." And yeah, I think McBurnie would have been signing back for us. Like I said on previous episodes as well, we would have kept Kiefer Moore, and between him and McBurnie, it gives you that focal point up top.
Look, I know
we are really lacking.
Look,
we are absolutely lacking. And
no matter what the conversation is, you have to somehow shoehorn Kiefer Moore into it. We all know
it makes no odds of the name of the player. It's the stature and the type of player that they were. Last night against Southampton, their centre-halves were poor. They weren't big and physical. We needed an outlet up there who would have bullied them and just brought others into play. And Bernie would have done that really well, and Moore would have as well. So they're both Wilder type players, and I think in January we've got to go for somebody, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went for someone like McBurnie.
Do you think they will pay cash for him?
I don't think he's going to be. He's on what did he sign? Contract.
Not sure if it's a 1 or 2 year deal. I know Hull can offer
a big price, is he?
No, I suppose.
Hull need money as well.
True. True. I mean, I am with you on the McBurnie side, and I would have had Oli McBurnie back straight away.
Who else is out there that fits that bill?
Well, no one. I mean, there was the lad who QPR signed, wasn't there, from Wickham? Is it Kone?
Yeah, but he's not massive, is he? He's
No.
fast.
Yeah,
But he's
big.
not.
He's powerful though.
Yeah, but he's not a 6'5" machine, is he?
Are you thinking more? You want a Gary
You want him?
Medine style?
We need a battering ram. We need somebody to bring us into play up there, do dirty work, and possibly go to a two.
Yeah. Well, it's an horse for a course, isn't it? And you look at the evidence is there that Wilder will make a move for a player like that. He's done it with James Hansen, done it with Gary Medine, done it with Kiefer Moore, gone for McBurnie. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for him to go for a signing like that at all. It really would. It'd be typical of Wilder really to get that kind of player in. So we've discussed McBurnie. We both agree that we'd probably sign him back. Hull Saturday. What do you reckon?
It's a massive 6-pointer, isn't it? It's,
Well, it is a 6
you,
pointer.
can't, you can't we can't keep going off at the same things, but it's a must-win game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a great side, but I'd put diamonds on McBurnie scoring.
Oh yeah, I
What
would.
did he
Without a
score
defence
against
like
us?
it is.
2 for Barnsley, 2 for Swansea.
Yeah.
And I just you can just see it. We're fragile at back. He'll know that. They'll pump it up. He'll be in and around. He picks up off scraps as well, won't he? Quite well.
Yep.
And I won't be surprised. It's return of 3 players, isn't it? Egan, Lundstrom, and McBurnie. That whole guard of famous promotions and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
I think we.
Hull's a great side, and
Mm.
it's a game at the start of the season. You're looking, thinking, I said, oh, there should be an away win.
Oh yeah.
However, I think now we've just got to go there and get something positive because it's international break after, isn't it?
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
We need something positive.
Yeah. Absolutely agree on that one. I mean, Hull's not an easy place to go, and as you say, it would have been a place where you're targeting 3 points at the start of the season, isn't it? Absolutely. What would you say would be Wilder's priorities from Tuesday to Saturday? What do the team really need to focus on? What do we need to improve in order to get a win on Saturday? What do you reckon they're doing?
They've got to cut out these basic mistakes.
Yep.
They've got to be solid at the back like they were at Oxford, and we've got to be clinical up top. I mean, we're not creating that many chances, but when we do, we're not scoring them. I think our XG has been quite high, hasn't it, on in some games with the type of chances we've had. But we just, Campbell not being fit doesn't help.
No.
And the fact that you're relying on Cannon and a half-fit Danny Ings doesn't help.
No.
I think Ings will build up and probably get 30 to 40 minutes on Saturday. Obviously score dependent, but yeah, and it's that old cliche, but we need a bit of luck.
Yeah.
We genuinely do need a bit of luck. There were times last night where balls bounced for opposition and it didn't bounce for us. And I know every football fan thinks that they don't get the luck, but we don't seem to get much at the minute. So
no, and I think another stereotype you and I were talking about this morning was the set piece analogy, isn't it? That every club thinks they should defend every set piece, yet score from every set piece. I mean, I would just like to see us stop giving the ball away from throw-ins and corners, and just find a player. It would make a massive. Just have a header at goal from a corner. It'd be nice. I'd take that from a throw-in, manage to throw it to someone's feet instead of just inanely down the line or, throwing it up to Ogbeni and him just getting clattered by a fullback. That's the things I would like to see, just cutting out that kind of stuff. And just one of the things United did do well last night, I felt, was they kept the ball better for decent spells. And it didn't matter that we went sideways a few times and stuff, but we had better spells of possession while it was in play. As soon as it stopped and we had to restart again, we lost it. But in play, we kept the ball a bit better. What were you going to say?
it very much likened to that. I remember the Leeds at home game last season.
Mm.
Well, we were 1-0 up, and then they just had a couple of moments of quality.
Yeah,
And
good sides too.
And they found a way, and they had Ross Stewart. Whereas if we had Ross Stewart in our side, I think we'd score a lot more goals, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think you're right. What's your score prediction?
Saturday, I'm going for a 1-1.
1-1 Saturday.
I do think Oli McBurnie will score.
I am going to be controversial. I'm going to say we win 2-1. 2-1 Saturday, and I thought we'd only draw at Oxford, but I just have a feeling. I don't think Hull are great at the back. I think United are probably going to do a lot of work on that final phase transition and movement when we're attacking. So I think, sticking my neck out, we might win 2-1 on Saturday. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, and I'll be absolutely delighted if we pull it off. Anything you want to add, Johnny, before we wrap this up?
No, I'm just hoping and praying that it's not the same referee from last night on Saturday.
Davy Gisbrechts the third coming back. Yes, it's been a longer episode than what we planned tonight. We hope you've enjoyed listening. As we said from the very start, if you want to give us a listen, keep listening. If you don't want to, you don't have to. We don't mind, do we, Johnny? We understand people are busy. So, I've been Matt. He's been Johnny. We've got nothing else to say now except up the blades.
Up the blades.
Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put that ball